back because you've just come on? If you want to go ahead and
Yes,
unmute for
can
me.
you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay,
Thank
sound is
you.
on. Thank you.
Oh, that's me humming. Hello, friends. Okay.
You keep humming, Amber. You have a beautiful voice. I'm sure, as Amber probably described, I know you can only see us right now, but shortly you'll be able to see the full sanctuary, both the big picture view and then close up right on Alana's pulpit, on Rabbi Dickman's pulpit, and the central pulpit for anyone who's using anyone who's doing an aliyah that's not part of the immediate family in the congregation. So you will be able to see all of that carefully. Just momentarily.
Okay.
Well, the trip to Israel.
Yeah.
They're-
Ah, okay, so, great.
Welcome, Rabbi Cohen. Did you want to do a quick sound check just to make sure we can hear you?
Good Shabbos, everybody.
Good Shabbos. Thank you. That's wonderful.
Great to be here.
Whatever you want to share. So, thank you for doing that.
Shabbat Shalom. My name is Rabbi Rini Dickman. I am the director of the Chicago Board of Rabbis, and I'm really honored to be here. Rabbi Weinberg asked me if I could be here this evening while he's on sabbatical, and TBI also is a special place to me. Many, many years ago, I had an internship here one summer when I was in rabbinical school, and I have lots of friends in this congregation, so it feels great to be here. And whether you're joining us in person or you're on Zoom, we're so glad that you're here with us to celebrate so many things this evening. I counted 5 things that we're celebrating this evening. So number 1, Shabbat, so Shabbat Shalom. We're celebrating Rosh Chodesh. It is the beginning of the month of Adar, the month in which we celebrate Purim. And so the month of Adar brings extra happiness, so we can say Chodesh Tov. May it be a good and joyous month for us. It's also Shabbat Shkalim. It's one of 4 special Shabbatot that arrive on the Jewish calendar leading up to Passover. And a little more about Shabbat Shvalim later on in the service, but that also falls on this Shabbat. Number 4, it's Alana's birthday. So happy birthday. And number 5, of course, we are celebrating Alana becoming a Bat Mitzvah and being called to read from the Torah. So Shabbat Shalom and Kodesh Tov and happy birthday and Mazel Tov and all good things. Thank you for giving us so many reasons to feel joy and to celebrate. We are going to begin our service by singing together, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, may peace come to us, on page 353.
Od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, 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 aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam.
We turn back to pages 2 and 3 and invite Alana's mom, Annie, to light Shabbat candles for us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'adlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. We turn to page 6 and invite Marilyn Rosenthal, also known as Grandma M, to read at the top.
Can you all hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Go ahead.
Funny here. We enter the sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to live lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Now we, in our turn, come into the sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer.
Amen. And we call upon Eleanor Sindelar, also known as Grammy, to read on the bottom of the page, page 6.
May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life.
Thank you. We call upon Alana's godparents, Lynn and Scott both, to read on page 9.
There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain.
On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share.
There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted.
On Shabbat, we stand and wonder for the mystery of creation.
There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others.
On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. Please turn to page 20 as we sing Lecha Dodi.
Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, yalalai, 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, yalalai, 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Yailai, shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad. Ishmi'anu elam yuchad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'litehila. Lecha dodi likrat kalai, halalai, 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kalai, halalai, 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Yailai, likrat Shabbat lechu v'nilcha, ki mikor beracha, mirosh mikedem nisucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tchila. Lecha dodi likrat kalai, halalai, 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kalai, halalai, 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Yailai, hitorri, kiva ori, kumi ori, shir daberi, kevod Adonai alaich nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kalai, halalai, 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 פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללי, 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 פני שבת נקבלה. For the final verse, we rise now in body or in spirit and turn to face the entrances to our homes and the sanctuary to welcome the Sabbath bride. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללי, 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 פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללי, 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 פני שבת נקבלה.
We turn to page 22, and Maddie will read for us. Almost I to the steadfast love at David. Your faithfulness equates to the cleansing heart, which is void and life today. You have guided me by your deeds eyes. I sat for joy at your feet. How great are your works, how ransom are your designs. The roots cannot relate, the truth cannot understand. The righteous name of the sweet king is dry where the sinner is living. Planted in the house of our and the forest in the streets of our God. In old age, we still we are full of care and affection. The blessing that our Lord is separate from us is one there is no wrong. Thank you, Maddie. We invite Susan Alton and Eric Wilson to read on top of page 27.
Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer, on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair.
Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways.
Elsie Cottage on page 26.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, וילמד יברח רותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגלה בגלה, ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך, יתברך, וישתבח, ויתבר, ויתרומם, וינשא, ויתהדר, ויתעלה, ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו. לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה, ואמרו אמן.
Jackie Green, who is a dear friend of the Sindelards and also former babysitter of Lana, is going to read a poem that is not in your prayer books.
To be is a miracle, to sense that I am here in this time, in this space, so unique and special. One day I appeared on this earth and said, I am I, and that is miracle enough. In the endless, empty spaces of the universe, in the mystery of the secret workings of all things, it is the greater wonder that I am, that I fill the emptiness with life, that I experience myself and know about myself, and that I penetrate to the outside and meet you. I will not search for miracles, but become conscious that I am miracle enough. I will celebrate myself as you celebrate me.
We rise for the Barakia on page 28. Please be seated and turn to page 30. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher biparo ma'ariv ha'avim v'chokhma potech sha'arim u'bitbuna meshana itim u'machalif et hazmanim u'sader et ha'kochavim v'mishmerotecham barakia l'tzono borei yom v'layla v'leil or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומסביר בין יום ובין לילה. אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב הרבים. Page 32.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נהגי יומם ולילה, נהגי יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולם. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Avad Ve'ahavta את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
38. All this we hold to be true and trustworthy for us. You alone are our God, and we are Israel, your people. You are our sovereign and Savior, who delivers us from oppressor's hand and saves us from tyrant's fist. You work wonders without number, marvels beyond count. You give us life and steady our footsteps. You performed miracles for us before Pharaoh, signs and wonders in the land of the Egyptians. You led your people Israel out from their midst to freedom for all time. When your children witnessed your dominance, they praised your name in gratitude, and they accepted your sovereignty. Moses, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices joyously. Page 40.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורות עילות אוסף אלה, נורות עילות אוסף אלה אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מלכותך ראו בניך בוקע יום לפני משה ומרים. זה אלי ענו ואמרו, זה אלי ענו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורות עילות אוסף אלה, נורות עילות אוסף אלה אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פד אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, b'chorei sukkot shalom aleinu ve'al amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 44.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Turn to page 48 for the tefillah. Please rise, and I'll just add that we'll be adding the blessing for the new month on page 56 as well. But we're on page 48.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elokei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם וזרעת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך הקדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. We continue on page 56. Eloheinu v'Eloi avotenu v'imotenu ya'aleh v'yavo v'yizacher zichronenu v'zichron kol amcha b'Yis Yisrael lefanecha letova lechin לחסד ולרחמים, לחיים ולשלום, ביום ראש החודש הזה. זוכרנו אדוני אלוהינו בו לטובה. אמן. ופוקדנו בו לברכה. אמן. והושיענו בו לחיים. Amen.
Be seated, turn to page 60.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata umelech Adon לכל השלום, כי אתה הוא מלך אדון, לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל, בחולית ובחושה, בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
We continue with a few moments for our own silent prayer. On page 341, you'll find the words to a beautiful song called Mitzvah. And a friend of the Sibilars, Michael Meltzer, is going to sing this song for us and especially for Alana. It is a blessing and a prayer that she will be safe and protected on her way.
Lechi lach to a land that I will show you. Lech lecha to a place you do not know. Lechi lach, on your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing, Lechi lach. Lechi lach, and I shall make your name great. Lech lecha, and all shall praise your name. Lechi lach, to the place that I will show you. Lisimchat chayim, lisimchat chayim, lisimchat chayim, lechi lach. And you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing, Alana. You shall be a blessing, Lechi lach. Alana, we've been very fortunate enough to witness the amazing journey that you've already undertaken. And we're happy to have witnessed and been part of your Jewish spiritual path that brought you to this moment.
And know that we will be there for you and with you for the rest of your journey. We will always be there for you.
We love you, Lali.
Alana, you ready for the Torah service? We begin the Torah service on page 245. Assemble the people, men, women, and children, and the strangers in your cities, to hear, to learn, to revere Adonai your God, to observe faithfully the words of this law, and let their children who do not know it yet hear, that they too may learn to revere Adonai your God. Please rise.
Ki mitzion teitze Torah, Ki mitzion teitze Torah, Udevar Adonai mirushalayim, Seu she'arim rashechem, Useu Pitrei olam, Ve'avo melech hakavod, mihu ze melech hakavod, Adonai tzvaot, hu melech hakavod.
We ask you to stand together, the lectern, your whole family. Alana, you are the next link in this chain of tradition that is being passed down from you, as it has been passed down Lador Vador from generation to generation. May you embrace the Torah wholeheartedly. May you learn from its words, add your own interpretations, that you too will be able to pass it on to others who will come after you. Pass the Torah to Alana. Page 248, we'll sing together. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. We turn towards the ark. Adonai Itu, Uneromema Shemo Yachdav.
Lecha Adonai Hagdula v'Hagvura v'Atiferet v'Hanetzach v'Hahod Ki chol v'shamayim uvaretz Ki chol v'shamayim uvaretz Lecha Adonai hamamlacha Ve'amid na'aseh lechol rosh.
You can be seated. This week's Torah portion is Parshat Mishpatim, which means laws. These laws are a combination of civil, moral, and religious laws. These laws are embedded in the Exodus narrative. It is because the people of Israel have known oppression and have been freed from it that they can now become servants to God instead of slaves to Pharaoh. The experience informs the breadth of these laws that seek to create a society in pursuit of justice and righteousness. The end of the Parsha describes how the covenant between God and the people was ratified, giving an account of Moses ascending Mount Sinai once again to receive the 10 Commandments written in stone. Our first Torah reader is Lori Stagren. We call for the first Aliyah, Rabbi Adam Setcher and Ina Albert. Ya'andu Harav Abraham ben Yaakov Esther, Ilana bat Ephraim Tova, Levarech al HaTorah.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Amvorach, Baruch Adonai Amvorach Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam, Asher Bachar Banu in Kol Ha'amim, V'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
ויעל משה ואהרון, נדב ואביהו, ו70 מזקני ישראל, ויראו את אלוהי ישראל ותחת רגליו, כמעשה לבנת הספיר. וכעצם השמיים מפורר, ואל אצילי בני ישראל לא שלח ידו, ויחזו את האלוהים, ויקולו וישתו.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. And yay, Elana.
For the second Aliyah, I call upon Cindy Franklin, Alana's TBI mentor. Amod Rafael Bat Abraham Sarah Livareth Al Hatorah.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevarach. Baruch atah Adonai. Baruch Adonai HaMevarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torto. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe, alei elai v'hayam sham, ve'et la'necha, et l'kol ha'ed, ha'torah ve'ha'mitzvah, asher katabti l'vurcha. Vayakom Moshe, Yehoshua Mosheto, vaya'al Moshe, El Farha Elohim, El Hazakini, Amar Shulanu Gazeh, Ad Asher Nashu, Alephem, Ve'kinei Aharon, Ve'kur Imakan, Ve'al Tibarim, Ve'tash, Alephem. Cindy, the blessing after. We see you. Your turn, Cindy.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. The third Aliyah is Annie Sigalar. Ta'amor Chana bat Yaakov Miriam Bichna Levareth al HaTorah. Baruch Adonai HaMorah. Baruch Adonai HaMorah Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torto. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Vaya'al Moshe el Pachar, vayifas ha'anan et ha'am, vayishkon kivod Adonai al Sinai, Vayivasehu Le'anan, Sheshet Yamim, Vayikra El Moshe, Yom HaShavi'im, Yitvot Ha'anah, Mar'eh Kevod Adonai, Va'ish Ofelet Berosh Ha'ar, Le'enei B'nei Yisrael, Vayavo Moshe, Yitvot Ha'anan, Vayal Ahar, Vayihi Moshe, Vahar, Arba'im Yom, Ve'arba'im Layla. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan לנו תורת אמת, וחי עולם נצח בתוכנו. Baruch atah Adonai נותן התורה. Amen. The fourth Aliyah will be read from that Torah over there. So if you want to find your place. So, Alana, hold on 1 second, because I have the honor of calling you up as about Mitzvah. So I'm just going to put this Torah right here. There we go. Okay. Sorry. And I'm going to say one thing to explain why. Well, there's 2 separate Torahs because of COVID, but there are also 2 separate Torahs because you are reading a special Maftir for Rosh Chodesh. And it is a special concluding section selected for Shabbat Shkalim, which we observed this week. Shabbat Shkalim is one of the 4 special Shabbatot leading up to Passover. Alana's Torah reading announces a full tax of a half shekel to be used for building the tabernacle in the wilderness. Announced on Rosh Chodesh Adar, this gives the people 1 month to pay their tax before the month of Nisan, the month of Passover, begins. So that is what Alana is reading for us. Ta'amod, 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 Ilana Chaya bat Fana Berab bat Mitzvah. Baruch Adonai Hamorach Le'olam Va'ed. Amen. roll the Torah and put the green cover on it, we're going to say Mishaberach Lecholim, a prayer for people who are in need of healing, on page 253. And we hold in our hearts Sheldon Cohn, Wayne Silverman, Carrie Bellows, Alan Sporn, Andrew Beater, Andrew Bida, Esther Mendelson, Ronald James Sullivan, Dennis Gelbart, Seema Tolchinsky, Karen Zandy, Jason Edward Zimmerman, Michael Ben Mingo, Sandy Rubin, Diana Binder, Elise Langenfield, Hannah Devorah Batita, Hannah Feigo Batyenta, Asher Gedalia Ben Mata, Shelley Stone, Sheila Landy, Elena Klein Angus, Adam Brodsky, Ilana Miriam Baklava, Johanna Fine, Fred Siegel, Debbie Geisfeld, Georgios Lotsov, Joel Greenblatt, Elaine Morgan, Walter Schulruth, and Tracy Kite. And anyone else in need of healing, we also hold them in thoughts as we sing together on page 253.
Mishaberach avotenu mekor habracha limotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Yishar Kochach, we celebrate you, Alana. You read beautifully from the Torah. We're going to sing joyously, Siman Tov u'Mazel Tov.
Siman tov u'mazel tov u'mazel tov v'siman tov, siman tov u'mazel tov u'mazel tov v'siman tov, siman tov u'mazel tov u'mazel tov v'siman tov. Yehilanu, 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 u'lechol Yisrael. Yehilanu, Yehilanu, u'lechol Yisrael. Yehilanu, Yehilanu, u'lechol Yisrael. Yehilanu, Yehilanu, u'lechol Yisrael. V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael, al pi Adonai biyad Moshe.
A celebration for you and your family, but for the whole Jewish people. We're going to say a short introduction, and then we will be Alana's Sakra portion for Shabbat Shkalim also talks about silver that was donated for the upkeep of the temple in Jerusalem. In the 9th century BCE, King Yehoash discovered that though silver had been donated Specifically for repairs of the temple, those repairs remained undone. Apparently, the priests who received the silver thought the repairs were too costly and might cut into their income. As a result, the king changed the system. Only money for sacrifices and ritual objects was given directly to the priests. Silver donated for temple repairs was put directly into a chest with a hole bored into it. Uncle gets it up about, and later distributed directly to those who made the repairs. The king created more checks and balances on the priests and ensured that funds would be used for their intended purposes. Alana will be reading from the book of 2 Kings. Alana, thank you so much for reading so beautifully. I'm going to ask you to take a deep breath now, and your parents are going to join you in facing their speakers.
Alana, as we stand here tonight celebrating a significant milestone in your life, I'm reminded of a time 13 years ago when on a frigid February day, your mother and I stood up with you in our living room to introduce you to our family and friends, our community, at your naming ceremony. Your name is more than just a simple connection to your ancestors, to the great-grandmothers that you were named for. Your mother and I came up with several possible names, and we fretted over which one we would call our first child. As we considered various names tied to our families, we researched and debated, and then we came upon Alana. It turns out that Alana is far more than just a derivation of my grandmother Helen's name. It also happens to be derived from the old High German word for precious. Your German ancestors would say, that's a pretty good, or should I say, ziemlich good name for you. In Gaelic, Alana is the term for beauty or serenity. Your Irish great-grandmother would certainly agree. Most appropriately, Alana is an English translation of Ilan, which in Hebrew means oak tree. At your naming, your mother told the story of how an acorn falls to the ground and over the years, with care and feeding from Mother Nature, grows and blossoms into a beautiful and mighty tree. In that metaphor, your mother and I found a spiritual connection. That connection sealed the deal, and we had our name. So how did that metaphor stand up over the last 13 years? Let's review. As new parents, we couldn't know what the future would hold for you. We could only hope to provide you with a loving home and nurturing environment, just as the forest floor provides a solid foundation for the acorn, newly fallen from its parent tree. That acorn begins to take root, planting itself, drawing nutrients and water from the soil, just as you planted yourself in our hearts, and began to grow, learning from the loving community of family and friends that surrounded and supported you from the beginning. The tiny sapling begins to reach for the sky, just as you, at an early age, began to walk, and to talk, and talk, and talk. Your growth was further nurtured by your nannies, and then your preschool teachers. It was at preschool that you started to take a real interest in Jewish culture. By the time you were ready for kindergarten, you were asking to go to religious school. Just as the sapling starts to become a small tree, growing branches that begin to reach out into the forest, you started to branch out and spread your metaphorical wings. You became a voracious reader, a lover of music, a determined young cyclist, and a lover of animals, especially your dog. Your growth continued as you learned guitar, then piano, then trumpet. You took ballet, gymnastics, swimming, and skating. At age 8, you rode 36 miles in one day on a tiny kids bike. You learned to kayak and how to snowboard. While the mighty oak tree continues to grow, narrow rings mark the years of drought. Though these rings come from the challenges faced by the tree, they contribute to building the strength and resilience of the oak, even more so than the thick rings from the plentiful years. So too have you had challenges that have brought you strength. You've had to mourn the loss of 3 beloved grandfathers, including 2 only months apart. Your broken bones, including 1 year, a broken arm just as your summer break was beginning. You've had to adjust to moving from the city to the suburbs, not just from the only house you'd ever known, but to a new school, away from old friends. That move kept you from riding your first adult bike the entire summer that year. You met these challenges and many more and learned from them. They became part of your being, just as the rings of the oak tree provided strength. As the oak becomes mature, it offers shade from the sun and protection from the wind and the rain. So too have you become a protector of others. I am so very proud of your empathy and compassion, of your determination to combat bullying, of your willingness, no, your insistence on defending those who will not or cannot stand up for themselves. As we mark the milestone of your bat mitzvah, a ceremony where you accept adult responsibilities in the Jewish community and commit to a life of learning, kindness, and integrity, I think you've discovered that it wasn't that your mother and I wisely chose a good name. It was kismet, fate, that our little acorn would become a mighty oak. I don't know with clarity what the future will bring. I can tell you that there will continue to be challenges and celebrations, headwinds and tailwinds. My hope for you is that you believe in yourself and your power to do good, that you will follow your heart, drop in your own acorns in the form of the positive impact you have on others. Those acorns will spread your spirit throughout the forest that is our community, creating a legacy that will outlive all of us.
Alana Isabel, as I stand here wearing the mask that you sewed with your own hands, on this Rosh Chodesh, a time for Jewish women to gather, draped in your great-grandfather Manfred's palace, given to me by your grandpa Jack many years ago, I am brought to tears of joy, and yes, I'm going to cry. Tears of joy and pride in you continuing the Jewish traditions of our family. We made a conscious decision to raise you in the Jewish faith. But as you know, studying Hebrew and attending religious school has always been a choice that we allowed you to make. When you made that commitment to being called to the Torah over 4 years ago, we knew that this one was a choice of certainty and conviction. You are a great-granddaughter of Holocaust survivors and have made a commitment to honoring and continuing a Jewish life that the extremism of hate and intolerance sought to eradicate. Working against the powers of evil is a theme that fits you well. Since you are very young, you have taken to helping those who are being mistreated or bullied. I can think back to second grade in Mrs. Baumgart's class, when Jerry pulled me aside to share what a good citizen you were, or how you helped a kid that was feeling left out. This quality has not faded. It's not gotten stronger. Later on in elementary school, you joined an anti-bullying group and went on to become a safety patrol volunteer, making sure that the little ones got to and from their buses safely. I remember when we first moved to school, we met a family with a child your age who has some developmental disabilities. The boy befriended you, following you around school, at times telling you how much he loved you. Another kid might have felt embarrassed or pushed away from the kid that's different. You did just the opposite. You embraced his friendship and welcomed him in, protecting him from others when they said you things to this defenseless child. One of your seventh grade teachers noticed your strong and powerful voice. She reports to us that there have been a few times where topics have come up in class and you've spoken your mind in trying to educate and inform others who have different perspectives. This has led you to join a newly created branch of the student government to help focus on equity within your school. While I have been still focused on teaching you about racial equity, you have taught and continue to teach me about equity on other fronts. I thought as a social worker I was up on all the latest trends in the LGBTQI community. You have helped me to better understand the importance of concepts like dead names to a person who has transitioned their identified gender, and the harm it can cause another by not respecting. You have shown us that non-binary is not just a computer-related term, but an important part of people's identity that is hurtful to them and disrespected or joked about. It fills me with great pride and gratitude that we will continue our lifelong learning on the road to a more equitable society in concert with each other. You are a truly generous spirit, even when participating in your favorite activities like ice skating and swimming. Your kindness shines through. Whenever we're skating with someone who is less than proficient on the ice, I am astounded by your ability to hone in on those in need, coming to their aid and steadying them before them. In the scavenger hunt you planned for the littles, you saved the pandemic Halloween and winter break with your creativity and patience, carefully writing and planting seeds around the neighborhood for kids to discover. Even with a broken arm, you found a way to engage the younger set, so eloquently. You're about to speak so eloquently in this module. And making everyone count. You do this every day in your advocacy of others and emotionally your generosity towards others. Many years ago, perhaps before you were born at High Holidays, every member of our congregation was given a little card from Rev Allen that stated, "Lenot Yaminu Koda Venavi Levav Chochmah." Increase our awareness so that our days count and thus bring vision to our wise hearts. It is a Rev Allen interpretation of Psalm 90. It seems clear to me that you embody this idea of increasing others' awareness, making us all more connected and understanding loving kindness. You stand bold and firm when it comes to your sense of justice and fairness. You count every body, and you make people feel like they count. You also make a Jewish mother. When Rabbi Weinberg handed you your bat mitzvah date in this sanctuary 2 years ago, we never could have imagined what flexibility and accommodation would be asked of all of us. You have handled these losses like a champ and have blessed when you did. While we mourn the loss of having everyone here in person, we are grateful for all of the virtual love around us and for the presence of your God family. As you continue to forge your path ahead, we have all the confidence that you will be guided by the Jewish values and continue to make each day and every person count. Say what you say. Well, if you'll hand the Torah to Alana, we turn to page 256 to return the Torah to God. Page 256. Hallelujah, Adonai, Kiniskav Shemo Levado.
Hodo haaretz v'shamayim vayorem keren le'amo tehila lechol chasidav livnei Yisrael am kerov. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah,
You can be seated, and Alana will now be our teacher and share her divine thoughts. Today is a special day called Shabbat Shekhalim. This was the day in ancient times when people were reminded that they would need to pay the Hashem's tax for the upcoming month of Adar. According to my Torah portion, they used the collection of this tax for the purpose of paying taxes. The Torah says that they promised men like me, so it's pretty clear that the purpose of the contract was for monetary drop. This year is also when we're taking census in the U.S. This census is used for various purposes in the biblical sense. Today, the census is used to determine political representation in the U.S. House of Representatives. It's also used for calculating the distribution of federal grants to states. While each census is different, all censuses government purchases and vote and share the amount of people eligible for a certificate. A census isn't just about everyone, to make sure that everyone counts. In ancient times, everyone meant something different. And then medical age. Now, everyone really does mean everyone. This shows that our understanding of law changes over time. In each country, there's laws and commandments that are also understood today than they were in each time. For example, then, if someone killed another person, the killer was executed. Now, if you kill another person, you go to jail. Last year in public school, we learned about homeowners code, homeless development, and values. Today, of all connected. Mishka team is very similar to Homeowners code. They both mention the law of an after 9 to 13. However, the Torah is much more aware of our values. In Mishka team, it says that if a man doesn't need to kill another, God will spare him. But the Torah takes intention into account. From studying these cultures, I learned to important lessons, one about gender roles and another about. In the Torah, men were societies and women were making babies for children. Now women were expected men to fight, men can cook, teach, and raise children. I'm very grateful to live in a time where many people believe that all genders should have equal responsibility and opportunity. We aren't there yet. We are on our way to have equitable responsibilities and opportunities for all genders. I'm also very grateful to have people in my life who help me and care about me. And I would like to thank some of them now. Mom and Dad, thank you for helping me grow and teaching me important life lessons. Grandma Ann, thank you for giving me my first book and helping foster the lifelong gift of my love of reading. Granny, thank you for always being there for me and teaching me subtle life lessons. Maddie, thank you for loving me and joining me on great adventures. How my wonderful dog, beautiful dog, Munson, who cannot be here. So sad. Thank you for always being around, even if you were in the room. Thanks to Rabbi Michael Wyman for helping me right from the dark side and coaching me up to this moment. To my bat mitzvah tutor, Sherry Brennan, thank you for teaching me my portions and being a great Hebrew school teacher. To my CBI mentor, Jimmy Becker, thank you for helping me gain a much deeper understanding of my Torah and software course. To Rabbi Rainey Dickman, thank you for being here tonight and making sure everything happens smoothly. To Lori Sagman and all of my CBI teachers, thank you for teaching me Hebrew and giving me a great Hebrew Jewish education. Last but not least, sitting here with us in this holy sanctuary, my God family, Auntie Glenn, Uncle Scott, Josie, and Sammy, and let's not get their wonderful, beautiful, amazing Bella dog who cannot be here. Thank you for the blessings on every one of my houses and what's going on for 13 years. You bring so much love to my life. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Stay there, Lana. I get to say a few words to you. First of all, happy birthday, and mazel tov to you and your family. You have made your family and your congregation very proud of you. You have also given us, Alana, the gift of hope, that our younger generations will carry on our traditions, adding your own unique interpretations along the way. In your Torah portion, you spoke about the tax that each Israelite had to pay in order to build the tabernacle, the place for the people of Israel to connect to God in the wilderness of Sinai. And in your Haftarah, you spoke about a king who made sure that funds that were meant for the upkeep of the temple in Jerusalem were spent exactly on that, the maintenance and care of the temple, the place where Jewish people in ancient times went to connect to God. You might think from the passages that you read that a place to connect to God is very important. The tabernacle and the temple certainly were important places. But you also know that the Torah that you held in your arms tonight
is portable, and so is its wisdom. We don't have to come to a special building to do mitzvot, the commandments. We can do them wherever we are. My hope for you, Alana, is that you will be invested in this specific building and in this place, and that the wisdom of the Torah will follow you wherever you go. You are very talented and creative, funny and compassionate, and you are a part of many communities, from band to ice skating and swimming, the other children in your neighborhood, your family, and TBI. May you continue to find ways to connect with children who look up to you, teachers who see your gifts, friends old and new who appreciate your kindness and your sense of humor. May God grant you health, Alana, and courage to pursue your dreams. May your life be sweet and full of blessings. I'm going to ask your parents to stand with you, to place their hands on your head as we offer you a most ancient lesson from the Torah. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine and shine and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai Pana Velecha, V'yasemecha Shalom. May God's presence be with you and grant you and your family and all the world the gift of peace. Amen. You can hug your parents. This is a big milestone for them too. I'm going to call on Lori Skagren, the Director of Education, to take some more speech. Alana, usually when I speak to the name of the students, I'm a whole lot closer to them. So this was a little hard for me because here I have a wonderful student who is in reach, and for safety reasons, I can't go there. First of all, Bible Club, and happy birthday. What a special, special time of event. You've got Mitzvah and your birthday. And I don't think there's anything more meaningful than that. I'm here tonight to present you with the gift that your parents are going to do on my behalf. So earlier this evening, you and Irene and your parents signed your Mitzvah certificate. In it, you say that you are committed to lifelong Jewish learning and to continue to be part of the Jewish people, and we welcome you into that world and into this world. I'm looking forward to you being a Mahomet next year. All of you talk about your work with my children. It's been even more convinced that I want you in school. So be prepared. In 2 minutes, you're going to make kiddush with a British cup that you received as a gift from Sister with TBI. On it is your initials and the date, and I hope you will use it for many, many couples to come. Our brotherhood is gifting you with a picture frame, bottom. In that picture frame is your initials and the date today. And for now, inside the picture frame is a certificate of a tree that's been planted in Israel in honor of your Mitzvah. And hopefully, at some point, we'll stick a picture in there from today as a memory and commemoration of this beautiful evening. And finally, your own set of our high holiday prayer book, which you will be able to use in just a few short months, because this is a very short year, and the holidays are going to come up very soon. And I look forward to seeing you, everyone will be together as a community in the fall as we welcome the new year. Mazal tov to all of you. And thank you for allowing me to be with you. We turn to page 258 to read the prayer for our country. And I invite Rabbi Chava Azuri Rabbi Emerita of Makom Shalom to lead the prayer.
Shabbat Shalom, friends. Alana, family, bless you and thank you. What a poignant time it is to read a prayer for our country. O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. May all nations merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and may our country be sound in body and spirit. And let us say, Amen.
Thank you so much. Page 259, prayer for Israel. Avinu Shebashamayim, Tzur Yisrael V'Go'alo, Barich et Medinat Yisrael, V'shit Mechat Ge'ulachenu, Hagen Alecha Be'ezrat Chasecha, V'fros Alecha Sifat Shulemecha, V'shlach Orcha Yamicha V'yashecha Sarecha V'yotzecha, V'taknei Be'etzah Tova Me'ofanecha, V'natata Shalom Ba'aretz, V'simchat Olam V'yishlecha, V'nomar Amen. O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. We turn to the concluding section of our service on page 282, and we rise for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, לתקן עולם במלכות שדי, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. We turn to page 295. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing.
Our community reaches out to the family of Helene Rowe with words of comfort and blessing. In her memory, we now pray. O God, full of compassion, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest under the wings of your presence unto the soul of Helene Rowe, our loved one who has entered eternity. Master of mercy, let her find refuge forever in the shadow of your wings. Bring her into your presence. Let her soul be bound up in the bond of eternal life. The eternal God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace, and let us say, Amen.
Amen. We call to mind those whose birthrights are observed on this Shabbat.
Simon Ager, Seymour Banfick, Shirley Biter, Howard L. Beller, Julia Blumberg, Oscar L. Williams, Dorothy Dresden, Ann Altenbaum, Theodore Ellisdowski, Maurice M. Babish, Harriet Fox, Ella Franklin, Louis Groman, Max Geckler, Elliot Goodman, Diane Kirsch, Samuel Charles Isbeth, Faye Levine, Inez Marshall, Joan M. Perlin, Israel Shalom Klosterman, Bernard J. Rappaport, Barney Reichel, Tilly Rosen, Miriam Rosen, David Rosenfeld, Richard Saba, Ida Sapphire, John A. Scher, Trudy A. Sickle, William Spector, Alice White Steiner, Rose Sturt, William Weinberg, Bernard Weinberg, and she who is laid to rest today, Helen Rose. To all these names we add those whose names are not mentioned, as all those who mourn rise as we say Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash v'rabah, v'yamad v'yivrat v'yiteh v'yivrat v'yiteh. V'chayekom v'yomekom v'chaye v'chol beit Yisrael. V'agala u'zman torih v'imrot amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach ve'olam oleh olaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'al v'yitolam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadal v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei v'yisha v'yitfu. Le'ela mukol birkata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nefemata. Da'amiran ve'amar v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabba mishamayim v'chayim. Avenu v'yalkol Yisrael. V'imru amen. Oseh shalom v'momad. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Avenu v'yalkol Yisrael. V'imru amen.
I call upon Rabbi Menachem Kuhn to offer a closing blessing.
Good Shabbos, everybody. Annie, Rob, Mazel Tov, you've done good. Maddie, you're awesome too. Thanks for being such a great sister. Alana, Mazel Tov, you made it. Today, being Rosh Chodesh Adar, we say, Misha Nichnas Adar, Marbin Besimcha. When Adar comes, joy increases. And Alana, you gave us a great start and a great sense of joy to start this month of Adar, the month of Purim. It's also in the Chinese New Year, the beginning of the year of the ox, which I find wonderfully appropriate because of this parsha, Mishpatim. There's so many rules about oxes. And in Perek Shira, the chapters of songs from our tradition, there's numerous dozens of elements of nature, from storms to birds to crickets to oxes, that each quote a verse. And the verse that the ox quotes in Perek Shira in chapter 5 is, "Then did Moses and the children of Israel sing until the infinite eternal, whose greatness they had witnessed. Horse and rider were cast into the sea." We all have our horses and riders within us that trace us down and try and tell us we're not good enough or we're not wonderful. Let's cast them into the sea, because we're all beautiful and wonderful people. And this being the year of your bat mitzvah, let's make it a wonderful year. Let's all, in this parsha of Mishpatim, bringing us in of civic law, may we all be blessed to have an increase of joy, to release those things which hold us back, and to build a country and a world with good civics of getting along and finding the way to do the most for the most and the best that we can. Ken Yiratzon, Amen, v'amen. Good Shabbos, everybody.
Olana, it's time to fold it to the top. This is behind you. Oh no, it's right over there. And the Kiddush for Friday night is on page 4. And I believe Marla is going to sing Kiddush for us as you hold the Kiddush cup. Vayi erev, vayi boker, yom hashishi. There was evening, there was morning, the 6th day. Kiddush on page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron maseh v'reishit. Ki hu yom techila lemikrai kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim ki vanu vacharta veotanu kidashta mikol amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadosh hashabbat.
Amen. L'chaim. Shabbat shalom, chodesh tov, happy birthday, mazel tov. We're so happy to be part of this joyous occasion. Thank you for sharing this with us. And you did a wonderful job, Alana. Mazel tov. You did it.